like Deep Gaze Champion with a number of necrotics has been shifting powers around, adding to the attack and defensive troops.
Flameblade Invoker, which is very dangerous, though blockable.
And we see here Metronomy.
Both of these players are 4-1. I feel like these are both players who have a chance of making it to the top 8.
Oh, thank you for that. So yes, a lot at stake here.
Now there's only one, and checking to see, does it still have...
It actually does have can't be blocked with troops less than its attack. So that is actually unblockable. 6 damage. Just waiting to see if something out there can affect it. JohnDruitt has only 1 charge, unable to get that extra damage, but a dangerous 1 health. Granted, Vampire Princess and Vampire Kiss can bring Metronomy back up.
It's also possible, and I don't know because we're coming into this late, but it's also possible there could be a number of Tarantulas in the deck. So it's possible that you attack in with both the life-draining vampires because they may or may not get to block anyway. So you at least get that health back. Make the Tarantulas, and see if you can get lucky with that shuffler. See how many Tarantulas you can get from your berry.
So I think you need as much as you can. So yeah. Ooh, Shard Ward. Unfortunately, choosing blood stops all of this damage.
Yep.
It's like a 2-cost blinding light that can't hit shardless things.
There's still an option. Metronomy could still Vampiric Kiss the opposing champion. He doesn't have to
now.
Right this second. Okay. He can't do it this turn now, but he could still do it on his opponent's turn. So he could
still hit a bunch of Tarantula eggs and disrupt this attack and survive.
Right.
But that was a big blow. He's actually playing the second Finteo to have an extra blocker. And bury 1 card. Or Exarch. Is it bury?
Exarch trigger would give some extra eggs, the regular things to the deck. Yeah.
So here's again the unblockable combat. So this needs to hit a Tarantula.
Yep.
This needs to hit a Tarantula. And if it doesn't
get it this time.
So that will be game. That can't be blocked by anything, not even that Tarantula, just 1 attack too great. And Metronomy will take a loss in this game.
Kiss to face.
It looks like that was not the last game. Metronomy will likely possibly take the play here. We'll go to get to see another one. With again a change of pace from all the Ruby and Wild and Calamities and Crocosaurs. Nope, we just get some spiders. Just some spiders.
Yeah, one of the top decks here is this spider deck here. And the Ruby Diamond deck across from the other side, too.
Indeed.
Noxious Glory is a pretty cool card in general, but with that Deep Gaze Champion, it's pretty unlikely he's going to do that. Yeah. There's some interesting choices.
So a lot of people asking, is Finteo a good card? Well, apparently Finteo's pretty good.
Finteo definitely can be. We saw that match from the last round. It was really good.
We'll see when these cards are released into the greater constructed metagame where they stand. Keeping a 2-shard hand with Arcane Focus.
Yep. Good looking hand.
And Hatchery Priest.
This might be close to the ideal opening hand, really.
Turn 1, Hatchery Priest. Turn 2, Exarch of the Egg. Arcane Focus, in case another shard is needed. Brood Baron eventually, after creating bunches of things. Double Brood Baron. Is that the alternate art, Brood Baron?
That might be, actually. I haven't seen the alternate art one, but the art doesn't look familiar, so you may be right there. I haven't seen the extended on that, and I think that would be the case.
Metronomy really showing these spiders in their full glory, these venom. So he's going to Arcane Focus for a shard. Zinthix Silk, probably the thing to get. Doesn't specifically need a threshold right now, but may take it anyway. But which one to take is anyone's guess. I would recommend Blood, given what we've seen of Metronomy's deck and what he tends to have. And he does indeed go along with that.
Yeah.
Also gives him the resources to play the Rune Web Infiltrator.
Yeah, I think a lot of venom cards do care more about the double blood. There are a lot of double blood cards that are usually pretty important. Like you got Periphagy, you've got, well, maybe not Arachnophobia. Like you may or may not be playing it against an aggro deck, but certainly like Vilefang, Eremite, and some of the other cards that you really do want to be able to play would be pretty good to have the double blood there.
He's considering giving his charge power to Exarch of the Egg and attacking with it. If it's not blocked, it buries one card. If it is blocked, he doesn't use the power. It's probably better off on the Infiltrator anyway. But he's offering a offering the 2-for-1, which isn't really a 2-for-1 because Spirit-Bound Spy would become a Phantom, but the Deathmask Assailant is probably much better alive than dead, as nothing Metronomy has can block it. But there you go, an early Spiderling that can do some damage, one at a time. Also block Spirit-Bound if he wants to. Probably we'll just leave it there. Or maybe we'll block Spirit-Bound as now it's a 2-attack troop. Deathmask Assailant can't be blocked because it has its power. Spirit-Bound Spy, if Spirit-Bound Spy does get blocked, it is going to turn into a 2-1 Phantom though. Maybe he'd rather keep it on the ground, able to block it later. Next turn with at least Hatchery Cultivator. So yeah, 2 damage now.
If it becomes the Spirit, it can block the Infiltrator too.
It's true. Not this turn. Oh yeah, this turn. Because it comes back as a Phantom. That's right. So he's probably not going to block it.
Metronomy considering his options, and it's going to go ahead and just take the damage this time.
It's not so bad right now. It's when it gets worse, like that.
Yeah. The combination there of Assailant with Invoker is pretty tough. Ooh.
Great enchant.
That's an interesting.
The Cultivator needs to come out first, though.
It's true. So with the Cultivator, gets the trigger for the Exarch, so it puts some eggs into the deck. Looks like we're going to see Champion Power on the Spider. Maybe? Yeah. Yeah, he's choosing the Spider.
Yeah, he may need to use the Rune Web Infiltrator to block the Spy eventually. He's gonna put 2 eggs into his opponent deck because he is about to bury some cards.
Extra bonus from the Cultivator.
Yep. So 3 eggs from the Infiltrator. Maybe not. 1 damage to each attacking troop.
Stinging Ambush. That has been one of the tech cards for the aggro mirror and for the egg deck.
Unlike the Ruby version, on Pride's Fall, answers for days. Well, you've just lost 3 of your important cards, and you're facing Deathmask Assailant, Flamehand Invoker. What do you do?
Call for Batman. Looks like the player's having a few exchange of words here. Looks like the player's having a few exchange of words here.
Can't imagine Metronomy being too pleased at this turn of events.
Give some credit to JohnDruitt there for some creative reserve action there.
Doesn't even shift the flame hand power. Doesn't need to. He's choosing to trade Exarch, and I think he's okay with the +1 pump to trade with the Exarch. That is yet another thing off the board.
Yeah.
Hatchery Priest versus the world. Finds another Hatchery Priest friend, neither of which can block the Death Mask Assailant. Neither of which really wants to block the Spirit-Bound Spy. In case one of them ever decides to be able to do damage, there's a Psychic Torment.
Well, he might get a spider. Go playing away from spiders. It's a thing that could happen.
I was going to come up with this neat story about the Hatchery Priest training to fight. They're weaklings to begin with, but... Well, Deep Gaze Champion.
Yeah, so Deep Gaze Champion is a pretty big game here. JohnDruitt doesn't have the 4th resource, so he can't shift.
He has actually been stuck at 3 for a while, but this deck can work off 3.
Mm-hmm.
Just takes a little longer to do things. There's Fantale, fashionably late. Metronomy is still 8, not too bad, but the shift power is about to start going on Deep Gaze Champion. So that's going to be at least 4 damage unblockable going through. Spirit-Bound Spy has to be blocked at some point. Yep.
See a couple spiders here.
But indeed, that will be some extra block support. And Fantale Tarantula, the dream could happen. It did last time we watched Metronomy.
Now, if he doesn't have another shifter, okay. So we see a Pride's Fallen, though.
Fantale's dead. Long live Fantale.
Okay, so with that play, if we're going to shift, okay, he's chosen to put it on the champion here, which makes sense because that puts champion at 4 attack, and there's very few things, probably even in Metronomy's deck.
Venom have 4 attack troops. I guess they have that one 6-drop. They have that spider, the 4/2.
Like there are some other cards that aren't necessarily Venom you could be playing as well. Like you can maybe play Demon of Dusk, which would be a 5-cost 6/6. There are a few options, but not a ton.
5-cost 6/6. Please end the game before they draw Celestial.
Yeah, pretty much.
Excruciator's 5/4, right?
Oh yes.
Yep. Excruciator's a 5/4. Yeah.
Would that be an interesting card to play against in this meta with so many wild Ruby decks walking around with high cost cards in their hand?
It's interesting because you can have the Excruciator plus one other Venom that can usually kill off the Crocosaur, so at least the Crocosaur ends up dying. He doesn't obviously survive Crocosaur himself, but he is big enough, and like it can definitely deal a lot of damage if they choose Pain. So that could potentially have been a card. I don't know if people are actually playing that too much.
Metronomy at 1 with 3 troops. One of them is unblockable. Has a card that can help against this, but with both players stuck at 3 resources, one deck has what they need, the other has 2 Brood Barons in hand.
Yeah. Well, I think if I'm in Metronomy's spot, I'm just hoping to get a little bit lucky on the spiders and try to do a little bit of attacking and chump blocking.
I think it's safe to attack with 1 at the moment. Well, say if we're talking about Diamond here, he's gonna attack with 2.
Well, JohnDruitt didn't have any resources available that time.
Does get a spider, so at least he's able to cover the blocks he needs to survive.
Right. Metronomy making the blocks he can. Throwing back the deep gaze.
Just need one last minute spider. One last minute spiderling. It could matter.
Invoker off the top here. Highland
Invoker. Oh no.
So black belt with some brutal abilities. One of the very important ones for this matchup is you can give it flight, and then you can deal 1 damage to each opposing troop as well.
He drew an answer to that flight, but is it going to matter? He can't block. Oh, Deep Gaze Champion died. When did he die?
The champion.
Oh, he's in hand. He's in hand.
It's in hand. Yeah. He just chose not to replay that. He chose to put out 2 other troops instead. So there is
the Vampire Princess does have life drain and can help Metronomy survive just a little bit longer.
Still pretty rough here because presuming that JohnDruitt plays the champion next turn, he still does have that other resource left over that he could shift the ability. Wouldn't be able to use the activated ability from the Invoker, but could still pump up the entire team. So here we see with that additional spider, there are at least enough blockers covered.
That's a pretty painful martyr.
That's a martyr.
And that means Highland's black belt learns to fly. Flying kick over the over the spiderlings.
Yeah, actually, yeah, there's several abilities that could just kill it here. Like you could take out one of the blockers and bash in with all the guys. You could just fly over. Several options here. The Highlands Black Belt definitely has a couple of different abilities that are really cool. The versatility of it, like Carnosaurus is more efficient if all you care about is killing a 2-drop or 2 defense troop rather. Like the Carnosaurus is more efficient for that purpose, but the Black Belt is a lot more versatile, and like that right there is an example. You also do have the double damage option as well too. You just need to get in a few more points.